Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with the Soul. I'm Rita Hickman, and I'm a body-mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist in Northern Illinois. As you can see, it's been a white Christmas, which I've been glad about, but it is 8 degrees below zero here today. So I definitely have my heat on, and I'm sitting on top of my heat register so I can stay comfortable and focused and grounded while we do our conversations this morning. So this week we're talking about how to heal anything. And yesterday we talked about, what is healing? How do you heal things? Good morning, Gretchen. Nice to see you. And we talked about the fact that you aren't healing anything. Your conscious mind, your willpower, that's not doing the healing. What's doing the healing is this miraculous process which you have, that you can influence, but is happening. And this miraculous process happens because you consciously tell your body that you want it to heal. So you get to direct whether your body heals itself or not, but you're not doing the healing. So in like my profession, I help people heal. I tell their body what I want their body to do, but I'm not the part that's actually doing the miraculous sewing together of the muscles or the taking out of the inflammation or the strengthening of the immune system. What I'm doing is I'm directly telling the body, and it responds really well. Hi, Janae, nice to see you. It's my sister. How wonderful. We're telling our body that we can tell it that we want it, good morning, Denise, that we want it to stay sick, and move in this direction, or we tell our body that we want it to get better. And so yesterday was the foundation of you have to believe, that's one of the main pieces, you have to believe that your body can heal itself, and that if you do the right things, if you move it in the right direction, then it will. Good morning, Kathy. And so, I'm not saying things don't happen. So a lot of things are beyond our control, that we weren't aware of, environmental toxins and things that happen to children. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about our body's natural ability to heal and how miraculous that is. So today is about giving yourself permission to heal. And most of you who are probably watching this have a background in energy work or, have taken training and you believe that prayer and faith and energy and health and all of that will heal your body and heal your mind, heal you emotionally and physically. And it will. And so you already have that first step out of the way. But the second step is giving yourself permission to, and that's where a lot of us get stuck. A lot of us get stuck because we believe in this stuff, but we don't do it. Why? Because we don't think about beyond ourselves. We think about the moment. We think about what we need to do, where we need to be, how we need to feel, but we don't think about, we don't keep in mind the big picture. We don't keep in mind that when we feel good, we can do so much more for the people around us. We don't keep in mind that when we let ourselves get sick and we let ourselves get run down, that it means our body's going to fall apart. And it means that the people that we love are going to have to take care of us. We don't think about what's going to happen, that if we have surgery on our knees or our hip or our shoulder, how that's going to be downtime, and the people who depend upon us are going to have to find some other way, which is good for them. It's good to be self-reliant, but we live in an interconnected world. We live in an interconnected community, and when we stay healthy, when we do the smart things which tell ourselves to heal mentally, emotionally, and physically, then we can be there for the people that we love. Nobody ever taught us that as kids. They taught us that if you go to a spa, it's selfish. They taught us that if you nurture your soul, that you're being self-absorbed. Because they don't recognize, and you don't recognize, you weren't taught and made to believe and made to understand that those are important parts of staying and being healthy and of your body healing itself. One of the things that gets in our way is our nervous system. Our nervous system is kind of the guardian that either protects us or can relax and let things in. And in the world that we live in, we're in fight or flight most of the time. Our nervous system is in a constant state of protecting ourselves. And so then the things that we do, we're just coping. We're just trying to get day to day, moment to moment, just trying to survive this life and hope that everything turns out okay. When you take that attitude, when you take the attitude of, well, this is just what I have to do, this is the way it has to be, what we do is we fail ourselves and we fail the people that we love. Maybe you don't need to, maybe yourself, maybe you being healthy and happy isn't a good enough reason. I know it's not a good enough reason for me. Doing something that's strictly for myself and loving myself and liking myself, those are important things. But I have to have a really good reason to do that in order to take those steps. And the reason that I'm giving you is that you live in an interconnected world. You live in a world where if you don't take care of yourself, then everything's going to fall apart. And you're going to make it more difficult on the people who love you, on the people who depend upon you, the people who are in your life. They're struggling with their own issues too, whether we see it or not. And the more that we fill our well, the more that we decide that we want to heal ourselves, the more we can be there for the people that we love. Now, what happens when, let's say we do things and we stay healthy for our kids? Let's say we do things or stay healthy for a very important reason. And for a lot of women, I hear for their kids, or for their parents or something like that, take care of their parents. What happens when those reasons go away? You still, even if your kids grow up and they don't need you anymore, even if, your parents finally get their needs met, assisted living, or maybe they pass away. Good morning, Brenda. Nice to see you. And they don't need you anymore. You've forgotten that you are part of a community, and you have got these gifts that you've been given. These ability and this wisdom and this knowledge and these skills that the world desperately needs. If you're watching this, it means that you are more sensitive to things which are around you and that you want to move in this direction. I'm hoping to give you the push, because if you do this, good morning, Sherry, if you start making better choices to heal yourself, and we're going to talk about that this week, how our body actually heals itself. When you start making better choices, then you can make a bigger impact on the world. Good morning, Jason. You've been given so many gifts. You've been given so many life experiences and so much that you can share. And we forget about that. Good morning, Steffi. Nice to see you. Good morning, Jabber. Nice to see you too. So we forget that we're part of this interconnected community. We are pressured and influenced and imprinted to think only of ourselves. And so we do think that we need to power through when we don't feel good. We need to push through because we have to do something else. But if you don't take care of your needs, if you don't heal from your past wounds, emotional, if you don't heal from the aches and the pains and the things that are bothering you right now, then you're no good to anybody. In fact, you start to become a burden because you aren't giving from the resources that you have. You're in a place and you're in a space where you have so much to give to people that don't know, that don't have the resources, that are really struggling emotionally and physically because they're in a much worse place than we are. It's our duty, it's our responsibility to take as good care of ourselves as possible. It's our responsibility to stay healthy, to work on our past, to when our hips or knees or feet or back are bothering us, to help them heal. Because the more energy that we're using just to cope with how we feel, the less we have to give back, the less we have to give back to the universe and to the community and to the world in general. So one thing I learned about 7-8 years ago is that we have got we're juggling these energetic balls, and we keep taking more things on. And what happens is then we start to drop them. We can't carry them all. And usually what ends up dropping are the things that matter the most to us, the people who are closest to us. We don't have the patience. We don't have the tolerance. We get angry. We can't be present to them. We can't help them heal. We can't help them meet their needs because our needs aren't being met, because we're not giving ourselves permission to meet our needs. We're not giving ourselves permission to heal ourselves. Instead, what happens is we get mad, and frustrated, and aggravated, and irritated, and tired, and exhausted, and overwhelmed. And we cannot give like we're meant to give. So the first priority for healing is to give yourself permission to heal, to recognize how vitally important it is that you stay healthy and that you go back into your life and you look at the things which are sabotaging you, the choices that you're making, the beliefs that you hold, whether you hate men, whether you hate women, whether someone hurts you, whether you don't trust people, whether you don't trust yourself. You need to look back on that. Now, how do you know you struggle with something? I'll tell you very, very easily. If you get frustrated, aggravated, irritated, pissed off, in conflict, that tells you that there's something that you haven't healed. And it's in the best interests of the world. Good morning, Tamara. It's in the best interests of the world. It's in the best interests of the people that you love that you take care of those things, that you clean them up, because they are struggling dealing with your issues too. You know, if people have to walk around on eggshells, or they have to worry about whether you're eating right, or whether your heart's going to be okay, or because they can sense your pain. Even if you hide it, even if you don't say anything, they can sense it. And now they have to deal with that struggle as well. When you really love people, when you really are a part of this whole world family and world community, good morning, Kristen, nice to see you, then you make the commitment to yourself to heal. So you not only believe that you can heal, but you decide and give yourself permission that this is what you have to do. This is in the best interests of not just you, because we're not talking about you. This is in the best interests of the people who need you and the people who love you. And if you don't think that people need and love you, that's one of the most selfish opinions of all. That's most of the most selfish points of view. Because when you can't be present and use your intuition and feel your way through a moment because you're overwhelmed by how you feel, by your felt sense, by your psychological state or your emotional state, if you can't be present, then you can't help anybody. Then you're just reacting from your pain and your issues and your memories and your thoughts. You're reacting from that part of you that's not healed. And so when that comes up, the question to ask yourself is not whose fault is it, but the question to ask yourself is, what do I need to do in order to take care of this? How can I help this? Now, part of our problem is we need ourselves too. We've gotten to the point where we don't trust ourselves anymore, because when something hurts, we just take, Advil for it, or we power through it, or we keep doing it, or we keep doing more, that people don't really want. We keep doing the things that people don't want us to do. We keep thinking that if we enable them, or if we do everything for them, or if we sacrifice ourselves, then maybe that will make them happy. It won't. The people who love us do not want us to sacrifice ourselves for their happiness. They want us to be happy and healthy so that they don't have to worry about us, so that they can create a higher level of relationship, a higher level of attunement with us, so that we can help them heal and help them be present. So one of the people who needs us that has been calling for us desperately is ourselves too. And we know that when we have a part of ourselves that comes up that feels hurt, angry, aggravated, and frustrated. And as I said, instead of saying, whose fault is this? We need to say, what am I missing? What do I need? What part of me is calling? What part of me is scared and hurt and frustrated? If your hip hurts, it's because you are not doing the things that you need to do in order to keep your hip feeling good. And if your hip doesn't feel good, then you're in pain, and it sucks up energy, and you can't be present when people really need you to be most present. Good morning, Mary Jane. I'm glad you're here. So think about it that way. You know, when something bothers you, don't just numb it out and cope with it. Figure out, look at the deeper things. What's calling to you? What needs you so that you can be the person that you're meant to be? You can be the healer and the energy worker and the mom and the spouse and the child and the coworker and the citizen of the world that you're supposed to be. You know, when you don't think about it like that, when you don't think about our interconnectedness, then that's extremely selfish. And the fact that we have such an overwhelm of people getting sick, of people breaking things on their body, of mental illnesses and mental health. What it says is that we're being so selfish and so coping, so not doing what we need to do. Good morning, April. That the world is falling apart. So the first thing you need to do is, one, as I said, believe that you can heal yourself and that it's possible. And two, give yourself permission to heal. Stop being so selfish, stop being so self-absorbed about what you need to do and where you need to be and how you need to do this, and start focusing on, okay, what am I not getting that I need to get so that I can be fully present to this life? And if you don't do it for you, and I don't do it for me, do it for the people that you love. So tomorrow we're going to talk about, thank you, Jabber, I really appreciate that. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the next step in healing, which is, if you want to heal and you are ready to heal, then you have to start creating a healing space. And you can actually do it in a wide variety of ways. Oh my gosh. You know, so if you believe it's possible, I'm going to tell you the thousands of ways it's possible to start creating a healing space for yourself. Because a lot of times your environment does a good amount of the healing for you. You don't have to waste time and energy once the initial investment is made. You know, once you create the space, both inside of yourself and outside of yourself, then your body starts to heal itself because you're telling it, okay, now it's time. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to go get a little bit of a workout in because it makes me feel good and it takes care of myself. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day too. So I'll see you tomorrow, and ciao.